Okay, so our three verbs this week are ulvig, ordig, and ibrig. So you can see they are all two syllable, all right. And I was just thinking of them, I suppose, look, I'm in full oral mode now at the moment, for obviously my leaving certs. So I was thinking of like good verbs they could use for like the Shrapic door, but then also I was thinking of verbs that like the examiner might use when asking questions. So, for example, ulvig, like Cunasa dulvig dun Veiltrail. How did you prepare for the Veiltrail? Okay. Or like I will now ordig, I was thinking like, if you were in the Shrapic tour and you wanted to talk about maybe like them ordering food. So you could say, dordig she'd bia, or even if you can wanted to say like I ordered a Guna, I ordered a dress off a website or online. So Dordig me Guna Erlina. Okay. I ordered a dress online. And then Ibrik, okay, so Colwell a Dibrig too would be the Amshakacha. So where did you work? Now, obviously, then it changes slightly for the Amshire Loichrog, so it's Ibrium, and then San Amshire Loich or Oshtanuk to Bronerm is Ibroi. So again, it's just the changing of these verbs, okay? Similar with Ordig, it's a little bit, I suppose, harder to grasp because we don't use it all that often. So like ordium, okay, would be I order, ordium, okay, or ordoi me. So say like even if you wanted to think about skull, right? So I just thought of that there. So think about skull and like, I order food in the canteen every day for my lunch, okay? So, because like, for example, they could ask you like a question, like, oh, and will be in te or falls canteen? Is there hot food available in the canteen? So, Tobia te air falls the canteen, ordium air ordium airlina, because I know we to app on in my skull. So, to ordium air on app, gok shockton or whatever, gokina every Friday or whatever the case may be. Okay. Now, so the Shanukkel this week is Isma on Tonlin on Tukra. So sticking with the conversation about food. So hunger is a good sauce. Now this is kind of a dual meaning. So it can mean like I'm hungry. Okay, if someone is hungry, they can say Isma on Tonlin on Tukras. But if you're like hungry for something and you're passionate about something and it's something you're working on, you can use this shanukkel as well. Isma an tanlin an tukras. Okay. So if you really want to win a match, or you're really, and you're training all the time, or whatever the case may be, that is it's a good one to use, okay, about persevering towards something. Now, and the Nat Nakancha then is slightly different. So it's a personal one when we're talking about ourselves. So Dar Lumsa is according to me, okay? Dar Lumsa. Now you can say Dar Lum as well, all right. Lumsa, just it's more emphasis, there's not a whole pile of difference. Then if you wanted to say according to him, Dar Lesh, according to her, Dar Lehi. So again, Brahanshe, it depends, okay, on what you're saying. Now, so I want to talk to you. So how are you getting on this week? And what I want you to tell me is, what exactly would you like to focus on? So we have like, is it 4 weeks or 3 weeks after this week? 3 classes after this week going into Easter. I know, like, where is the time going? So I want you to tell me, what would you like to focus on in the next 3 weeks? And obviously, how are you getting on in school? How's all going? Okay, Gracie, so you agree with me with the grammar. We'll do more on grammar. Okay, brilliant. I'm actually going to write that down because I was thinking about it coming home from school. Um, Perfect. And what are you doing in school this week, or what have you been up to? Well, I suppose like since I last saw you. Okay, so Kyoul notes, right? So Gracie, what other essays have you written bar chorus like, or like what have you started another essay? What title? Oh, okay. I see what they're doing there, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, right, yeah, Cav Amshra. Okay, Leah, yeah, I know it's orals. We're doing orals in our school as well at the minute. So yeah, the teachers can be out. Okay, perfect. Right. So grammar is a good idea. Now, like, are you happy me? Is there any other specific grammar rule that you really struggle with in school? That you want me to go over. So obviously I'm going to do like the masculine and feminine, but is there any other rule that you find comes up sometimes, or maybe your teacher mentions and you're like, you're not 100% confident on it? Because I can cover more than just, I can cover, one or two of them next week. Okay. Okay, so we'll practice a bit of the Mokali look as well. Perfect. Okay, great. And you can let me know as well, like, I don't know if your teachers are doing, I don't know if they're doing Easter tests, but like if anything does come up for the Easter test, you can let me know and like I can fit it into the class. Okay. So we're going to do something a little bit different now today. And I just want to kind of, again, just show you like ways and means around questions. Now, I understand that you're only in fifth year, so you don't have all the topics covered for the oral, but I want you to give it a go because as I always say, it always comes down to the tenses and the verbs, okay? So you need to get out of your head of like, oh, well, I don't have that topic covered. Even if you don't have a topic covered, you still should be able to answer nearly any question that comes your way if you're confident with the tenses and the verbs. Okay. So, and this resource is brilliant. So, like, I've obviously included it here in the weekly document. So, I'm going to click into it now. It's going to bring us to the word wall, but you can use this anytime. Okay. So, you'll see here. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign you questions and you can write the answers in Zoom chat. Okay, so Gracie, I'm going to spin the wheel and I'm going to give you your first question. Okay, well, I mean, that's easy. If we can answer it right. Okay, so Kani Shu, and I'm actually going to give you the one on top of that as well, Gracie. So Kani Shu and Kane Culver is Fiarlath. Okay, so there are your two questions. Okay, Kani Shu, August Kane Culver is Fiarlath. So I must write them down here. Sheet of paper. Ish and over Sculla. And Leah, I'm going to give you two questions as well, okay? And then we'll do this for a few minutes. So you can just type it in chat. Okay, great one. So Leah, I'm going to give you these two questions because they're similar. So on Rautu sa Gaeltacht and then on Mahlat on Gaelga. Sorry, there's a few typos in there now, but Gaeltacht agus Gaelga. So on Rautu sa Gaeltacht Riv and then on Mahlat, well, on Mahlat on Gaelga. Okay. And then I will have a look at it. Gama Gracie, Tom Shocked, Melina, Dag, Dish, Intuk. So that is correct. Yeah. And then so Cade an Tover Scullia is Fiarla. No, Kane over Scullia is Fiarla. Okay, Gama. Okay, Intuk, sorry, I'll wait till I'll let you type there. God, that worked out well and you studying Kjol this week. Gamalia, Intuk, ni raume sa gwael tucht rib. Excellent work. Answering in the correct tense. Okay, come on. So like, see now with Gracie, you say like Kjol is your favorite subject. So then the examiner might go into like, you know, oh, and like came bana Kjol is fair lad, no one right who's the Kjol kerm rave, because inish them fwy on Kjol kerm. You know, King go leis gael, King cost this there on ticket, how much was the ticket, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so Gracie, I'm gonna assign you now another two questions, and Leah, you can keep writing about your Gaelga and then I'll come back to you. Now, so this is an I'm sure Ashtonuk question. So cada yen fitu in nia na horteshta. Now, in nia is just another word for taresh. So cada yen fitu taresh na horteshta. Cada yen fitu taresh na horteshta. Cart galore. Okay, Gracie. So I'm gonna give you that one. Okay. Is Sprawlum Gaelga mar Tom Vuntor. So Ma Vuntor. So I'm not worried about spelling, but I suppose Lee, just for yourself when you're saying it, because Ma Tha mar Tom Vuntor Jas. Yeah, Tirgan Tanga Tirgan Anam. Come on. Okay, Leah, so I'm gonna give you another question. Okay, Leah, I think you're able for this one. An gahan degree on Umarka Ama Erlina. Do teenagers spend too much time online? Okay, now it's in the Amshire Loichrock. Okay, so just think about it, but you should be well able. Again, you don't need to fully expand on it, okay, but just you know, just take your time with it. Remember, you will still get majority of the marks if you can answer in the correct, you know, the correct tense and with the correct verb. Yeah, come on, Gracie. So bawachlum, so bawa with the H in it. Bawachlum of it in mavuntor bun sculla. That is probably the most common mistake I see just when we're saying it. In mavuntor bun sculla. Okay. Taresh on skull. Okay. So or taresh na horteshta. Okay. Intok. Gracie, I'm going to ask you another question just when we're doing Kjol. How would you answer this? On Shannon to in Erlishi Kjol. Gamalia. Okay, Intuk. So you use the Conchindiruk there. Very good. So I think the teenagers spend too much time online and you used it correctly. Intuk or fod. So mahu lesh an Conchindiruk on shin. Ní senim earlish ceol ach canam me. Okay, ach canam, yeah. Ítog, Colleen aus fad, I'm really impressed with that. Okay, so ma shiv. Okay, so we're going to come away from there now. Okay, and again, I think it's a really good way to really good way of practicing. Now, sticking on kind of the Scrúdú Concha vibe, right? I'm going to have a look at saying on Spalpeen Fánach, Ceart Galore, because it's one of the harder poems. And obviously I just kind of want to talk through it because a lot of people like end up stumbling over the words and so on and so forth. So I'm going to read it aloud. If you want to make note of your phonetics, please do, okay? When you get this, or if this was to come up for the oral for you, right, you only have to read the first 2 verses, Ceart Galore. So that's all you need to be worried about is the first 2 verses. So what my other advice with this one is, take your time. Okay, take your time. Like, don't be stressing, say the word slowly, read every word carefully, and there'd be no reason why you would go wrong. Okay, so on Spalpeen Fánach. Im Spalpeen Fánach a Tom le fada. Ag Shasav má chlánta. Now, I know that word is hard to say, okay? So, ag shasav má chlánta. Chlán. It's like chlánta. It's like lawn. Okay, I know it sounds a bit weird, but ag shasav má chlánta. Ag siúl an drúchta go muc, so muc, go muc madzan. Is ag balu galar roha. So remember, Kalini, anytime you see an a fada, that a fada is pronounced o, okay? But when I see an a on its own, even though it's in Safokal Gaelga, it's just a, right? So like that line there, is ag balu galar roha. So you can hear that o there, roha. Ach. Glocket, so like id. Glocket fees o re na groppies. Okay. Cle is peak kun sorta. Cle is peak kun sorta. Kerklor. Is gobrok arish. Ní gléfar ma anam. Satir seo an Spalpeen Fánach. Okay, so seo verse hien. Now, inish verse do. So, bevinnic ma creel, like to creel yourself. Bevinnic ma creel go cluan gyal mala. Is os san go tibrid aran. Garrig, so GC, Garrig Nasora, Hias de Garan. Corsa, Lahin, Lauder. So I'll just say that line again. Corsa, Lahin, Lauder. Gallon, go delu. So that word there, that D word there, right, is like glue, but instead of a G, it's a D. Go delu. Ismo hushta im glock. Eg dul con tosig cared low. So like that word, that C word there is like cared, right? Cared. Eg dul con tosig cared low. is nor haim goderless is a siúd bhíon agam. Okay, so I'm going to say that line again. Is nor haim goderless is a siúd bhíon agam. Sin cúv an spalpín fánach. Okay, so hopefully that will help. And again, like I said, I have it recorded so you can go back and listen to it. Anish, so this is the last thing we're going to do on oral work. Just let me take, yeah, and then we're going to go on and look at the course cassette, Cart Galore. So we're now going to talk about the topic of ansauru in yon. Okay, because again, similar to the Dera Shachtana, it can be asked in loads of different tenses. Okay, now, so again, this is going to test you a bit because we have a kesh sa namshir chatsa, sa namshir loihrok, sa namshir osnoch, agus an mo canilok, Cart Galore. So, kesh de hen on route to har riv. So, amshir chacha. Kesh de do on walain plan agat dun sauru shaw. Kesh de tree. But what lat in the Coney Harlar law one? So that means, would you like to live abroad one day? Okay, so that is essentially mo canilok, right? Bo wahlum in Mahoney Harlar law one. Okay, and then you would go in and you'd talk about, you know, I would do this, I would buy that, blah, blah, blah. I would go here, I would go there. So I'm actually going to give you in Zoom chat, I'm going to give you the verb for I would go. Rockin' is I would go. Okay. So then the last one is also mo canilok. The move on cronker no shunta cane och a rocko fall. If you won the lotto, what place would you go? Okay. So but all I would say to you is, like, when we think of the oral, you need to think of the little details. So, an Oraushe Costa Suck was it expensive? Cunasavi on Amshire, how is the weather? Kane Rodia Yarna to Nora V2 okay, what things did you do when you were there? Right? So again, Ton Nakesh and the shins and Amshire Khatsa. So, you know, like it can be like Kvad, Kvad, the ticket, how much were the tickets? You know, Kvad Nomad, a Hogan Shea Air and Echelon, how many minutes does it take on an airplane, or whatever the case might be. Now, what I want you to do, Accordia, though, is I want you to try your best to answer these 4 questions as best you can. Again, don't be worried about spelling or anything like that, right? I just want you to see how you react and connect with the questions and with the verbs and the tenses that you would use, okay? So I want you, if you can number them, that would be great. And I'll be able to then discuss them all individually. And if you're wondering what harlar is, so harlar is abroad. So they might say harlar, they might say erlehin sira. Okay, so it really does all depend. Gamathlia, yeah, Intuk, Vime. And that's all I'm looking for, okay? As an examiner, I just want you to say Vime Harlar. Yeah. Come on. Come on, Gracie. That's good. Good use of verbs there as well. Come on. Okay, good use of Tishel get a joke. Come on, Intuk Colony. Good use of response, answer and response with the questions. Iontóg Leah. Very good answer. Come on, Gracie. Great answer. Okay, Colleen, so now we have the Mo Keneally question, right? So we have rockin'. So if you watch my video, I put up a video there on Instagram and TikTok because a lot of people struggle with the Mo Keneally. So it's like when they haw, they meaning the examiner, you hin. Okay. So what was the question there again? So the move on cronker no shunta came out your rock ofo. So if you won the lotto, what place would you go? So Rockin Goodee, Maldives. Okay, now what would you do there? Cianoan, I'm not sure, Linsnova. Or Donhin, Sanoston, Cuagrailta. I would stay in a 5-star hotel. Or what else could you say? And again, guys, when I'm thinking of this, right, I always think of, okay, what do I need to think of as the student? And it's like just verbs. What other verb could I use? So Johan, ticket, the like what's the word I'm looking for? First class is the word I'm looking for. Hold on now, because I don't want to give you the wrong word for it. I'm just gonna look it up here. So first class. That's the first thing I do. I'd be flying first class if I won the lotto. On train, on ship. Okay. So to travel first class. So Sakiad Grod. I'm gonna write that in here. Sakiad Grod. Now, I'm actually going to give you that full sentence. So, hash the loan, Sakiad Grod. I would fly first class. Hash loan, Sakiad Grod. I would fly first class. So, Rockin Goodee Maldives, hash loan, Sakiad Grod. Sorry, that should be Grod, Corja. What would you do? So Don Hinson Oston La Cua Grailta with 5 stars. Sinead, that's all. Doesn't need to be big, fancy answer. That would be enough. Okay. So again, I will go into the Mo Keneally in more detail next week. But again, don't worry too much about it. The Mo Keneally looks actually a lot easier than you think it is. It's just getting your head around it, but I will simplify it all for you next week. Okay. And we'll do some activities as well so I can make sure that you understand it. Okay, now, before we go on to the Course Educate essay, the first thing I want to do before we actually look at the essay is I want to test your kind of knowledge. Now, I understand some of these sentences you may have from your teacher, some you may know from myself, and some of them you may not, but I want you to try, okay? So how many of them did I put here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 8? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Okay, so you can number them 1 to 9. Okay, actually, no, do you know what I'll do? Which I should have done. I'm just going to copy and paste this down here. Oh no, sorry, I do have it. Look, I do have it. I was like, oh, it's weird that I didn't put in a box. I have it here. So if you want to number them 1 to 9, and if there's one you don't know, okay, just leave it. If you know half of it, write half of it. Okay. If you know bits of it, write bits of it. And if you know, if you're like, I think that's what it means, but I'm not sure, write what you think it means. So what I've said here is we are going to have a look at an essay based on the education system in Ireland. That's what I want to show you next. However, before we do that, can you translate, okay, these common essay phrases? Okay, so have a go. So these are like common phrases I would give my students and which I've given you before in lessons for an introduction. Okay, so just have a look at them there. I'm going to give you like 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to put 5 minutes on my watch and see how many you can get. And then we're going to have a look at the essay. Okay. Probably well done. You're doing so well. Like it's not easy. Like they're not easy when they're put in front of you. You're like, oh, do you know? Okay, right. So I'm going to go through these with you now, and if you want to make a note of them, okay? So is Cian the Ivan a cat? So I'm actually going to see what you wrote. So this story is about, yeah. Well done. Excellent. Okay, so it's evident to me when you're, reading this, etc., that you're you have an understanding of these sentences and obviously what's needed to open an essay. So let us have a look. Right. So the first one. So X is one of the top problems, complicated problems of our time. Okay. So X obviously being whatever the topic is, whether it's course educus, course launcher, whatever. So this question depends on the opinion of the person themselves, and it is no surprise that it is a bone of contention from time to time. Okay. So, and actually that should be gaham. Okay, right. Without surprise, X has a huge influence on us. Okay, so chunker is influence and then more is big, so a huge influence on us. It's more on Noira ag will rud mar seo, so it is a shameful thing, or Noira can mean embarrassing. It is an embarrassing thing that a thing like this is happening in the third millennium in a modern country like Ireland. Okay. So that's quite a nice one because Triu Milish, so like it's just it's a third millennium, it's a modern country, things like that. It's a little bit more modern, I suppose, Gaelga. So, Nilia din an autorum. So opinions are as plentiful as people. Without doubt that this Shanukkel is true with regards this topic. Okay. Is ceist himúil í seo faoi X atá ag play ar fud na tíre agus ar fud an dahan le déanaí. So this is an interesting question about X that has been discussed all over the country and all over the world recently. Okay. Did I do nearly a dinner forum? I think I'm going to skip that one. Did I? So my favorite Shanukkel, which I start off the essays with. So opinions are as plentiful as people, without doubt, but this Shanukkel is true with regards to this topic. Now you seemed to know this one very well, so this is a popular one. So this question is being discussed and rediscussed by politicians, journalists, experts, and the public. And what a lot of people find hard about this one, or what I noticed with my fifth years, is they find it really hard to know the spellings of like Pulatori, Airishori, San Olaha. Okay, so yeah, just again, it will take practice. So it is, so it's a controversial topic about X that is, being making us wonder for a long time. And then the last one, it is no surprise that there is a lot who have an interest in this topic. Okay, so well done, Accordia. Now, what I want to show you, and again, this is all here in your drive. So we'll go in here. Where are we? Ashta. Okay, so here is my course educus essay. All right. So, now, as you can see, I've changed the Nilia din an autorum to Molanoig agus Chucky, right? So, and the reason I did that is because course educus, it's got to do with young people. So I said, okay, I'm going to put in Molanoig agus Chucky, praise the youth and they will prosper. So without doubt, this Shanukkel is true with regards to this topic. and it is an interesting topic about the education system that is being discussed all over the country and all over the world recently. Now, what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to actually take out all over the world, right? Because I'm just thinking in this essay, I focus mainly on Cuairteáin San Éireann, right? So if I want to be really particular, I'd be like, no, I'm not really discussing the world, so I might just keep it to Fud na Tíre. So that's why it's really important to know what you're learning, okay? And understand like exactly what you're learning, right? And become familiar with it. And so then you'll be able to edit it. And what I mean by that is you'll be able to take bits out, put bits in, kind of, change things around where you need to. So it must be admitted that this question is discussed and rediscussed by politicians, journalists, experts. Okay, so I'm not going to get into the rest of it because obviously the opening. I never changed my openings. Okay, so now we're going in and we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the education system in verse 2. So it is no surprise that the system is unsuitable and out of date. In my opinion, it is an old-fashioned education system in Ireland. And so Fios is improvement, okay? Fios improvement, Ahrú change, and Firbirch's development is needed. Loichroch bun means immediately. Loichroch bun, okay? Erangé Dulcius, firstly, there is no doubt in my mind that improvements, so lasso, guys, is improvements, okay? There is no doubt in my mind that improvements are needed on the subjects in the education system, okay? So then I go and I talk that there is BAME, so emphasis. The emphasis is far more put on the academic subjects like English and Irish instead of practical subjects like PE, okay? There shouldn't be a H in Berla. So it is no surprise that this kills Marion Shea, right? So verb for to kill. This kills creativity and individuality of the student day after day, okay? Leis an corpidicus. Okay, come on. Now, so that's the first verse. Or sorry, that's like the sub-introduction, okay? So now I'm just discussing the education system. So at the present moment, Ilorher Nahora, stress and huge pressure, so all war is huge, so stress and huge pressure is put on students with the amount of subjects that they are undertaking in the Leaving Cert exam. Students are doing around 7 challenging subjects for the Leaving Cert also. It cannot be denied that this is disgraceful. So gur shafoj viltanuk isha, disgraceful. So it's often that students are spending 2 to 3 hours of the day doing homework. I'm sure you would agree with that, okay? Now, I've highlighted this phrase because I really like it. It's like snov in aig asa atá siad. So it is swimming against the tide, okay? So it is swimming against the tide. Tó aspa ama pásanta ag gach duine acu, ach is minic a churann sé seo isteach imicí seo curriculum nó chahabhamshra. So it is a waste of personal so it is a personal waste of time, okay? No, sorry, that's not what I'm trying to say. So they have a lack of personal time. So aspa is lack of. They have a lack of personal time, and it is often that this is, taking away from extracurricular activities and pastimes such as sport or music. So it is believed that students are fully ready for working life after the Leaving Cert. But the opposite is true, however, okay? So again, guys, this one is a little bit longer. Students do not learn social skills or communication skills that are overall essential in important jobs today. It is a big world around us developing Ag Firbirch day after day. Ach is anmh a thugann athrútha móra sa córas oideachas. Caithfear a bheith mo chonta faoi sa látá aniuán, tá an curriculum máscala i bhfad éireann ró. It must be admitted today that the curriculum, the secondary school curriculum in Ireland is far too outdated. We must have a wider choice for students on the amount of topics, about the amount of subjects and of the type of subjects that they can engage with. Okay. So then I go on and I talk about, so I always try and have my opening and my ending, and then normally 3 paragraphs in between my opening and my ending. Okay. Now this essay is 691 words. You're only expected to write between 500 and 600. Ceart galore. So again, 691 is fine. I wouldn't be going over anything under 800 is acceptable. But obviously you don't have to write that much if you don't want to. Okay. So again, this is 691. I just say to my students, if there's bits you want to cut out, 100% do that. Okay. Now, Will May. So right, as well as that, the point system and the exams that are in effect in Ireland are completely unsuitable for students. The exam system is failing to assess students correctly. Okay, so that should be one punk or one stad. So it is failing to assess students correctly. It is often students learn everything off by heart. The glán bheabhair is off by heart to satisfy this system. So of that word there is to satisfy. It is seldom they understand the subject that they are learning. Now, I always like to put in, guys, and it's worth noting, a personal anecdote like you would do in English. So so now I'm going to talk about myself as a Leaving Cert student. So from my own experience, it is often that I learn phrases in French off by heart, but I haven't a clue how these phrases are used in ordinary life. As well as that, the exams are not based on practical skills that the students have. As everyone knows, it is so important, in any job, that you must have social and leadership skills. So skillna socialta, social skills, skillna ceannaireachta, leadership skills. If I was the education minister now, and I'm throwing in the Mo Conghaíleach here, which we talked about a little bit earlier today, if I was the education minister, I would put emphasis on student skills instead of standardized testing. Okay, I would put emphasis on student skills instead of standardized testing. And then I just ended it with a rhetorical question. Is there any solution to the problems in the education system today? Okay, August. And then at the end, I just go into my my conclusion that I use for all my essays, August Shine. Okay, so like I said, you can edit bits of that. I think is it the second paragraph is a little bit long. You could shorten it or take bits out of all of them. Again, it would depend on whatever you choose to do. So, Colleen, as always, homework is completely optional, but I am going to just show you quickly so I didn't assign you homework as such, but I just thought if you had wrote an essay and maybe your teacher didn't get to look at it, or maybe you wanted it looked at, where am I? Sorry now. If you wanted it looked at, you could, so if you wish, you can upload a picture of an essay you've written for school. So I'm not going to make you write an essay. And if you, on any topic, it doesn't have to be course educated, it can be on any topic. And I will have a look at it and I'll give you feedback on it if you wish. Again, if it's not something you need done right now, that is also fine. Okay. So we will be doing more grammar next week, as well as other stuff. And as always, anything else in the meantime, please just get me on Voxer or wherever you choose to get me. All right, Colleen, have a lovely weekend and I'll see you all next Thursday. Sloan.